Welcome to Draft Room Live, drafting in a $2.5 million drafters main event. We drew the 6th spot. I'm JD, the Draft Room Baller. Welcome to the show where we go live in the draft room throughout the week, whenever we can, whenever one pops up. Timing worked out today. Last night we had the GOAT District show with John Lobb looking at rookies that will impact your 2025 best ball and redraft teams. Make sure you check that out. We got the music going like we normally do, just waiting for the draft to start. As you can see by the thumbnail, we will be talking tight end turmoil. Nothing like midsummer, rapper coming out of retirement, players getting traded, signed. We're going to see ADPs go up and down as the ripple effect from this action that went on the last couple of days settles in. So we'll see. We'll discuss that. Interested to hear what you guys think about Jonnu going to the Steelers. Obviously, Muth was there. And Engram, the big surprise coming out of retirement, traded from the Giants to the Dolphins. I mean, I was already hesitant to draft Dolphins to begin with. I think I had my Jonnu shares are pretty low. I think it's 6%. Yeah, we're at 6%. Not too much in my bags. Muth 4%, so two guys that I was not really drafting much. Obviously, Rodgers in Pittsburgh. We've got Arthur Smith, always there to mess up our fantasy production, that's for sure. Who does it help? Does it help Jalen Warren? Does it help Caleb Johnson? We will talk about that. I'm gonna go neighbors here. Trying to increase my neighbor's shares. I know he's in the Giants. Nobody likes the Giants. But that dude's a beast, man. He's a target monster. Just to put it in perspective, as a rookie, with the Daniel Jones throwing him the ball, 170 targets. 109 receptions, 1,200 yards plus, and 7 touchdowns. Good enough for wide receiver 6. Taking him as wide receiver 4 here. So if he gets an improvement, or if he stays about the same volume-wise, I mean, let's face it, there's not much more in New York for him to fight for those targets with. You hope Theo Johnson gives you a full, healthy season. He gave some nice flashes. They really leaned on Theo Johnson in the kind of 2-minute drills, end of the game, that kind of thing, and then unfortunately he got hurt, but he was a pretty good fill-in tight end. I think him, Tyrone Tracy, I think can keep ascending as a running back in that offense. They bring in Scatapoo. Obviously, we'll see if that's depth, if that's a complementary piece, or if we're going to see these two battle it out, split it up. We'll see what happens there. I'm leaning a bit 60-40 action. Tyrone Tracy, maybe 70-30 to start the season. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now, what I'm thinking. Just put out a little notice out there on the X machine that we are live. For some reason the X on my browser, let me know if you guys have an issue like this, but whenever I go to quote post or quote, I always want to say retweet, but I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor here as my second running back. Let me try this again. Yeah, whenever I go to quote post, I guess that's what they call it. Oh, there we go. Now it's Now it's working. Now we're rolling. Appreciate you guys joining today. There we go. So we started off Neighbors Taylor. I think the Indy offense can be, like, I don't think they're going to be winning any divisions per se, or I wonder what their over-under is actually. Let me go check that. I know we talked about that last night in the GOAT district. I'm curious to see what the number is. Where did I put that page? Here we go. So the Colts, actually, surprisingly enough, 7.5. I know they have a weaker division, but you got to think Jacksonville's better, Houston's better, bounce back from CJ Stroud. They bring in some weapons there to help the young quarterback. And then Tennessee can come in with Cam Ward, not expecting them necessarily to turn it around so quickly, but you got to think they're going to be better. Love me some Breece Hall in the third round. So Taylor, we definitely need more of. We're only at 7%. In the double digits with Breece. I like Breece a lot this year. I like where he's going. A guy we were drafting as a top 3 running back last year around this time. I believe it was him, Bijan, and was it Gibbs or CMC? Maybe CMC, actually. So I like the price on Hall. See back-to-back top-tier quarterbacks go off the board there with Lamar and Allen. Nothing too crazy so far. 4-spot pissing yellow. 10-spot pissing yellow. He picks up Jaden Daniels to stack with his McLaurin. DK Metcalf, I don't think gets too affected by the Jonnu signing. I think receiver-wise, I mean, it's him. I'm going to forget the other two's names. Calvin Austin, I think it is. I like Worthy here as a wide receiver too. Rice comes back, opens it up for him. It's going to be harder for defenses, I think, to just narrow down one receiver in that offense. Kelsey's coming back. Curious to see how quickly Royals gets on the field. He's been looking good from what I can see in minicamp. You've got Rice healthy. So Neighbors, Worthy at the receiver position, and then JT and Hall, the double tap at running back so far. Yeah, I don't think Metcalf gets hurt or affected too much with this signing in Pittsburgh. I think it probably helps Rodgers. Definitely helps Rodgers. Again, there's not much in Pittsburgh, let's face it, on the receiving side of things. Addison here as my wide receiver 3. Showed us he's got monster ceiling. Last year, popped a 40-pointer for us. So Addison at 13% ownership so far. Nothing crazy. Our boy Jamie's in the house. Jamie, always appreciate you joining, man. How you doing, brother? Appreciate it. Awesome pod last night with John Lobb. Yeah, John Lobb is just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to rookies and college players. He talked about how he started a new website actually for fantasy, college fantasy. I think it's Fantasy College Hall of Fame or something like that. But if you go to Gridiron Scholar 91, I think it's Gridiron Skull 91 on the X machine. You'll have all the information there. We had John Lobb on with Dan Williamson and myself, just talking about what rookies will help you in 2025. Some polarizing picks in there. I know a couple picks I made. John was not necessarily a big fan of for this season. But I mean, you get to a point in those rookie drafts where it's flat. And I was going for upside. Guys like Burden were a little more of a discussion point, what they can do this year. Judkins was the other one, which is funny because off the bat, Judkins was not one of my favorites, but it's kind of grown on me just what I'm hearing about the offense and how they're going to lean on the run. John's concerns, you can hear it on the show. Go check it out from last night on this very channel. We talked about the trade, the Jonnu trade. Oh man, I totally forgot. Jamie, I totally forgot. I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I want to message him. I don't know if I want to message him necessarily and ask him that, but. All right, I don't have a lot of Godwin. I know he's not. We don't necessarily know if he's healthy or not, 100%. But I'm under 10% ownership right now. So as a wide receiver 4, with a couple running backs anchoring the front end of his team. Yeah, I totally forgot to ask him. Honestly, one thing with doing these shows is, I mean, I've been doing it now for almost a decade, but it doesn't matter how many times you've done it or how set up you think your logistics are. There's always a curveball that comes in somewhere. And fortunately, John didn't have headsets or earbuds, so he was listening to us on the show through his speakers, and that was kind of echoing in the in the audio. So I was trying to minimize that by muting him, and we were kind of playing around with it. We came on a little late last night. We usually come on right at 9 Eastern, and came on about 10 minutes later after trying to figure that whole situation. But yeah, that's crazy. If he graduated in 84, you're probably right, because you know what, sometimes I just forget how freaking old I am, man. Like, I'm gonna be 48 in August. I'm an old bastard, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm going to go downs here. We've got JT. If Pittman is not necessarily at full health from the back this season, I think Downs can really build off of what he did last year. No matter who the quarterback is, he showed us that he can produce. So that's the roster so far. Neighbors, JT, Hall, Worthy, Addison, Godwin, and Downs. We talked Matthew Golden last night. I'm actually going to pull this up like I did last time on my other screen so I can look up the players. I just find it hard to look up the players when I get to, when the board fills up. There's very little there. Here we go. Now we can see what's coming back to us here. So in the 8th round, these are 20-round drafts. Again, it's $20 entry. That reminds me, if you are not already on Drafters, make sure you take advantage of this deal. You get a free $100 in your face, basically up to $100 back from your first initial deposit, 100% back, up to $100. So that's 5 entries into this draft. I'm actually gonna go Mahomes here. I've got Worthy. I think he's going at a pretty good value right now in the middle of the 8th round. Again, we just talked about earlier in this show, Rice coming back healthy, sounds like. Don't think he's dealing with suspension. Not this year anyways. You've got Worthy coming off of a pretty solid, especially back end of a rookie season. I think this offense is going to throw the ball more this year. I think they're going to have to. I think their division's getting tougher. You got Vegas stacking up weapons. You've got Chargers second year with their regime, Harbaugh. Yesterday was Canada Day, so happy belated for any of you Canucks might be watching. Pretty chill here, Canada Day. It was really, really hot yesterday, so we walked over to my parents. My dad barbecued some ribs and that kind of stuff, but couldn't eat outside. It was way too hot. All right, who do we want here? I'm gonna go Etienne here. I just realized something. I'm gonna go check it out here. I think I may have. I think I've been calling Waller Evan Engram in my head. Actually, that's a great discussion. We'll be talking about that. The Waller. Yes, I totally called him Evan Engram. We will correct that right here. Boom. It's a good thing I didn't put his name in the thumbnail. I just saw Evan Engram in the queue there, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, some crazy bids, Jamie. As did I. I won one bid, and it, you know how it works, right? You put a bunch of bids out, and usually you get it on the team where you need them the least. This is a pure rebuild, helping out a friend with some of his dynasty teams. He's asked me to, he's in a bunch of private leagues, getting some sharks, asked me to help him out. And I put in a bid for Engram, kind of across the board, just to see if I can get something. And we ended up getting him in a pure rebuild. But, I mean, the idea for me is to flip him. One guy blew his load in a 2 tight end team that we just redrafted earlier this offseason. Yes, 20% is kind of where I was going. Like, I put 222 bids pretty much across the board in $1,000 bankroll bids. Leagues, I mean. All right, let me see here. I'm actually going to go Drake May here. I don't have a lot of Drake May. I realized that the other day that I have him in Dynasty Superflex quite a bit because he's someone I really like. But don't have a lot of them in best ball for some reason. And I think it's because I'm usually looking for stacks in best ball, like just subconsciously, that of guys I already have on my roster, and most of his stacks are later, other than Henderson. Yeah, I'm under 10% right now with Drake May, so I like getting him here, pairing him up with Patrick Mahomes. There we go. But yeah, some guys were putting some aggressive bids on Darren Waller yesterday. Overnight, anyways. I mean, like, you know, Miami was already an offense I was hesitant to click on often. I think it helps Waddle. Probably helps Waddle the most, I would say, in that offense. Which, let's face it, he needed help after last season. Last season was horrible. I had him on one dynasty team, and it was, yeah, he was just, it's funny, I had Jonnu on that same team, so go figure. You win some, you lose some, right? All right, let's see who can make it back to us here. I could go two ways. I'm actually going to go Stevenson here. I could have gone receiver, but the way I've got my build so far with running backs, with JT, Breece Hall, Etienne, Stevenson just adds a pretty decent RB4 there, where I think he still has enough of a role, especially early in the season. I don't think he goes away completely. We'll see how quickly Henderson come in and steal some touches, especially in the passing game. But I think with this build, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have a thought on that. Stevenson or the young receiver was kind of what I was contemplating there. I think that, again, with my three running backs that I had already, I think that adds a piece where I'm not necessarily needing to go deep at the running back position. So I'm kind of telling a story here that Stevenson is pretty significant most of the season with regards to touches. Bring this down more so you guys can see that. There we go. All right, the nice thing is he made it back as well. So Kyle Williams was the other one I was deciding. The thought process, and sometimes when you do these live shows, you can't really be too transparent, I guess, because you don't want to give it away if someone's listening, but taking Stevenson there, my logic was there's a higher chance Kyle Williams makes it back than Stevenson. So I actually like it a lot here with this. I like it a lot. Drake May, Stevenson, and Kyle Williams stack with New England. We've got Mahomes stacked with Worthy. So pretty solid start so far. Let me see what you guys think. Drop it in the chat, in the comments. Remember to smash the like button, guys. Help support the channel. Let's see what we have here. I think Benson fits perfectly with these running backs. You got, like I said, Taylor, Hall, Etienne, Stevenson are going to be starting the season as the starters in their offenses. So I like to get more back-end upside as my RB5 with this foursome. And Benson gives me that in an offense that I feel should be better this year. It is an offense I've been trying to get more of. Mike Shopes and myself are doing a 125 right now, BBT. And we've got a pretty sweet Arizona stack so far. We've got Harrison, Kyler, and Connor. We don't have Trey McBride. I was trying to think the other day, just random shit you think about during the day when you're a fantasy football teacher. Does having that stack without Trey Benson pay off in a big tournament like that? If you've got an answer to that, like I said, drop it in the comments. It's always appreciated, but trying to figure that out. I'll have to ask a couple of people that are maybe smarter than me when it comes to that kind of stuff, but post-lunch Americano. Had a bit of an earlier lunch today. Usually I'll fast till like 1, 2 o'clock, but a little hungry today, so took my daughter to my parents this morning. We both rode our bikes, so maybe that's why. All right, let's get back to this build. I'm gonna go Henry here. We need a tight end. Henry, when I start late at the position, is definitely a guy I'll add whether I have Drake May or not. And I mean, having Drake May makes that decision a little easier to click on him in this range. I mean, Henry is solid last year. I know they had weapons in New England, but young quarterbacks like to lean on their tight ends. We know that. He was a tight end 15 the last 2 years, points per game. Pretty solid considering I'm getting him in the 15th round. Almost 100 targets last year. 62 the year prior. Just more touchdowns. So we'll see what this offense can do, but in this build, so I'm going to add Douglas here. I'll usually cap it at 4 in a build. But my reasoning here is Kyle Williams and Demarius Douglas complement each other really nicely. And they can give me like a decent wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 production behind my neighbors Worthy, Addison. Also, Godwin is in our build, and Douglas offers a bit of protection with Godwin if he's maybe not 100% right off the bat. So just always balancing the different parts of the season is important when you're building these best ball teams. Again, you don't want to go too nuts with the stacking. I mean, you really need to hit hard, especially if you're invested heavily in an offense. And let's face it, New England's not. I wonder what let's see what their over-under is. So New England, what am I missing here? Oh wow, 8.5. All right, not too shabby. Again, you expect them to take a step forward with Drake May coming in for a full season as his second-year quarterback. More weapons. New OC, well, old new OC.
But it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through.
So after 15 rounds, we've got Patrick Mahomes and Drake May at quarterback. We've got Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, and Trey Benson. Malik Neighbors, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Addison, Godwin, Josh Downs, Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas, the receiving core, and then Hunter Henry, the lone tight end so far. Hoping Strange would make it back here. He makes it back. We've already got Etienne, I think, as a tight end too, with Henry. I've got those two paired quite a bit, actually. Even tight end premium. Got some builds with those two paired up. Again, considering where you're getting these guys, around 14 and 16. So 4 more picks to go. 20 rounds, start 3 receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex. I was hoping Mason Taylor would fall there. Gonna add Brashard Smith as another upside receiver or upside running back for my KC stack with Mahomes and Worthy. So pretty good at running back now with JT, Brees, Etienne, Ramondre, Benson, and now Brashard Smith. Probably just going to focus on the receiver position. Could add a third at QB or tight end, but trying to see where I took. So we took Mahomes in round 8. Because we have both of our quarterbacks in the first 10 rounds, that's when I'll consider just doing a 2 quarterback build. I know I talked about being more into the 3 quarterbacks this season, but there are exceptions to everything. So we've got 2 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 7 receivers, and 2 tight ends. Excuse me, so far. I'm gonna add Slayton here. We've got Neighbors. This is what, 18 rounds later. So again, the odd game where Neighbors doesn't necessarily smash. Slayton gives you a bit of an out. That offense is going to have to throw the ball. Actually, they're over-under. Only 5.5. Obviously, the quarterback situation is in question. But defense should be pretty decent. Offensive line should be improved. Problem is their division is tough. And I forget which other division they play this year. I'm gonna add Jalen Royals here. Keep that KC stack going. I think he can sneak in a role, especially later in the season, which is what I'm looking for at this point with the guys that I already have. Looking for upside, obviously. So we've got one more pick here. See what we can find for that last. Let me check something here. See someone in. Seems really low, but I'm wondering if that's just so we're either looking at tight end here or at receiver. Nothing really standing out at receiver. We do have we're at 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I'm actually gonna go. Oh no, did he just go? Ha, I just got sniped. All right, I was looking at Ferguson there for some upside at the position. So we'll go Tyler Conklin. He's been a guy I've been drafting in the last round if I need a tight end. Was looking for upside with Ferguson, just again with all the McShay kind of gushing over him in the press conferences and just talking about how they brought him in for Matt Stafford for this season. Still happy with the build. Let me know what you think, guys. We've got Patrick Mahomes, Drake May as a two-headed quarterback room. We've got JT, Breece Hall, Etienne, Ramondre, Benson, and Brashard Smith. At receivers, at running back, Neighbors, Worthy, Addison, Godwin, Downs, Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas, Darius Slayton, Jalen Royals, and then Hunter Henry, Brenton Strange, and Tyler Conklin at the tight end position. So a little KC and a little New England action. We've got a bit of a... What was the other one? We've got Jacksonville, we've got Strange and Etienne. Otherwise, that's a build 2693. Again, remember guys, smash that like button. It's very helpful. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out last night's Goat District. Just get by the little hiccup with regards to the start there, the audio, even the intro. I just spruced up the Goat District intro. Just made it a little, little fancier, but didn't have the new file in there, so I couldn't even play that last night when we launched the show. But check out last night's Goat District. I'm going to be dropping it in podcast format. We're now in podcast format on Apple Podcasts. We cracked the top 80 fantasy shows across North America in only 4 days, which is awesome. They sent us an email. And we're also on Spotify. You can watch us on video format on Spotify, as well as on YouTube. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to try to do a 4th of July stream on Friday. We'll see tomorrow. just because I'm going to try to spend some of the day with my daughter. She's off of school now, so I'll take her, do something fun with her. But yeah, stay tuned. Next couple days, I'll do at least one more live draft stream, if not two. Otherwise, appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll check you all later.